Hi all, PlantSide Agent here. Today we're going to take a look at a couple of alcohol copper tube jet stoves. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay, let's get started. I recently picked these up on Temu. They're kind of cool looking little alcohol. It's a copper tube coil jet stoves. A little jet in the bottom that flares up and heats the tubes, which vaporizes the alcohol. But these look kind of cool, and they weren't very expensive. I think this one was like 14 something, and this one's just a little bit bigger. I think it was 16 something, but they're pretty much identical stove. I think the only really difference in the two, if you can see that, is the size. This one has a rounded bottom, which is a little bit different. This one's really flat. So, but very cool little stoves. I have some others of these coil type copper tube stoves. Got a couple of really old ones that were full size stoves, pot supports and the whole 9 yards. So anyway, I got these off Temu. I was kind of impressed when I got them. They came, they both came with these little sacks to put them in, but also along with it, you got this little rubber, probably silicone ring that you can put on the bottom that would keep it from sliding around. And for this one, oops, staying in frame here, especially since this is kind of wobbly, as you can see, really helpful for that one. So now they're both very stable little burners. Also, in the little goodie sack that came with it, they actually have a couple of extra O-rings that go on the filler there we go, knob right here. So you got extra ones. I imagine they break down from the heat after a while, but they gave you two of them. Both stoves came with a little bag with two of these O-rings in there, which I thought was kind of cool. Considering, you know, the price here, quite a bit. And you actually got a little alcohol fuel bottle with the, oops, this little tip, which is excellent to fill them with, because it's just got a little hole in here for the fillers, just very narrow. So this will goes in there and works very nice. So considering what you paid, to get quite a bit, but there's more. This one came with this two-piece pot stand. This thing is pretty heavy duty steel, but it fits in like this. Oops. You have to take, if you're going to use this pot stand, you have to take the little silicone base off. Oops. I was going to pick it up, but picked it up on the wrong part. Okay, there. Get a look at that. It's not a bad little pot stand. It does fold up. Most pots will fit on here real nice, so should fit on there without a problem. So that was this one. This one came with a little funkier pot stand. See here, it's pretty stout wire. Looks like it could bend it a little bit, straighten it out. But anyway, it'll still give you the right height off the pot. So that came with it. For compactness, if you're going to use this, take it outdoors or something, it'd be a little awkward bringing this. You might have to come up with some other scheme for a pot stand. I don't know. I think, not really sure what these are really used for so much. Maybe with jewelers or chemists or something that, you know, needs a little burner like a Bunsen burner. In fact, I think these might be the predecessor. This type of burner might be the predecessor to the old Bunsen burner that you had in your high school chemistry class. So anyway, that's these two stoves. Now I'm going to do burn tests on them because for my own curiosity. So we'll fire those up. But I think to get started, I think what I'll do is go ahead and fire one of these up so you can kind of take a look at them, how they burn. They do burn pretty good. let's go ahead and fire one off just to get it started. Now, I have fired these off already, and to get these started, you have to preheat the coil to get it heated up. So I found that I couldn't use my small matches, which I have a lot of these around, because it took 2 of them to heat it up enough to burn. But the bigger full size seemed to work better. But anyway, that's just something. Let's go ahead and so what you do is just this match will get lit. These safety matches are worth a crap. Anyway, just stick that in there to heat up the tube. I went out and looked out on YouTube. There's a lot of videos that oops, there we go, that show you how to make these. I've thought about making them, but I wasn't real sure how. Listen to that guy go. Woo! Let me turn the light out real quick. Uh-oh, stalling. Huh. I wonder why it stalled out. It's not burning. Didn't do that the first time I played with it. Just a little funky. I wonder if there's carbon or something on the jet. There you go. I turn the lights out. You can see it burning pretty good. Yeah, after I get done with this phase, I'm going to go ahead and set up for a boil test just to see their performance on these 2 little guys. Oh, to extinguish these, it's the only real way to do it is to blow it out. And they blow out quite easily. Like I say, to extinguish these, just a quick blow and they'll blow right out, which makes you thinking these really aren't that practical for outdoor use, because any kind of a breeze at all would probably blow your jet out and you'd be constantly relighting the thing, trying to get your meal cooked. So also the other problem is that I was getting a little bit of leakage out of the little jet down there. I don't know if you can see the jet hole or not. You can see some fuel coming out, leaks out of it. And I think on one of the other, I think it's called, shoot, can't remember it, the little camping stoves that I got for this design, the original ones came with a cork that you shoved in here to actually plug that hole in. I don't have any corks on hand big enough to fit in here, but if I was going to use this, I probably would maybe just go down to the hardware store and get a cork or something to stick in there so that the fuel wouldn't leak out, but it does want to leak out a little bit. I'll go ahead and fire these up and do a couple of boil tests. Alright, I'll set up for the boil tester. I've got 16 ounces, 2 cups of 51 degree water. So we'll go ahead and fire this up and see how long it takes to boil water. Oops. Doesn't take too long to get these guys going. There, whoops. There it goes. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use this pot stand for both tests. We're off. I'll go ahead and turn the lights out and we can look at the flame pattern on this. Here's your flame pattern. Now I'm sitting here waiting for this to boil. I'd set this at 210. I think that's going to be my standard boil test from then on, because oftentimes, although 212 is the boiling point of water, sometimes it's kind of hard to get pushed over to 212 and get to 211 and it'll hang up. So I think if I go to 210, which is going to be plenty, and that's usually a rolling boil anyway. Like I say, out in the field, you're not going to have a thermometer. You're just going to wait for the water to start boiling, and that's probably going to be around 210. So that's what I'm going to start using from now on. Probably it should be the same. Also, I noticed that Gear Skeptic, a YouTuber, who does some very in-depth stove tests, food tests, all these other topics that are really great, and he uses 210. So yeah, I'd recommend you go out and take a look at his stuff. It's if you really want in depth and much more professionally done than my garage hacks here. I should have topped the fuel off. It just burned out 10 minutes and 26 seconds up to 208. I'm just going ahead and say 10:26. It was just about at a boil. I should have topped the fuel off. I think these things probably only hold a little more than an ounce of fuel. So, but like I said, even where we are at around the 206, 207 degree mark, at 10 minutes is not exactly setting the world on fire. So I'm not sure what these were really used for. They're really not a camping stove. I wouldn't use it. I say just because of the wind. I think there's some kind of a lab related use. If anybody knows, be sure and leave it in the comments, and I'll go ahead and put your comment in the description if somebody else is curious. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Make sure this one's topped off. We'll just take a look at the performance on this one. All right, I'm set up for the burn test on this little smaller guy. This has less fuel, so this possibly could run out before it starts to boil. We'll find out shortly. One thing I noticed when I move this guy, they do get pretty warm. It's almost too warm to the touch right away, so just a note. So let's go ahead and fire this off. I think I said I got, again, 16 ounces or 2 cups of 51 degree water, and we'll see what this little guy does. I was going to comment on some of the hoop stoves, the older ones I have, actually came with a little metal rod with a bit of a cloth on it that you could dip into fuel and then hold that instead of a match to get it started. Yep, come on. I'm running out of match. I hope it starts soon. Yeah, if it burns out, I'll just use another match. Whoop, whoa! off in a cloud of dust there. Is he? There he goes. He's starting to burn. Let him warm up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can hear the roar of this thing or not. There it goes. I say hear that. So let's go ahead and all right, we're off. I'll go ahead and turn the lights off, and we can see the flame pattern on this one. I'm pretty sure since the tubes are identical on these two stoves. Like I said, everything's identical on these stoves except for the body of them. But I'll do it anyway. All right, there's the flame pattern on the small one. Like I say, it's probably identical. Oops, okay. It burned out all. This thing was topped off on fuel, and it ran out of fuel at about 8 minutes and, oh, I'll say 20 seconds. I had to fiddle around. The camera turned off on me while I was sitting there waiting for it to boil. I should need a longer time on this phone. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. But anyway, I got up to about 170 degrees. I'll have to go back and look at the exact stuff from the camera. But so these really aren't designed for boiling water, obviously. So what they're used for, I think they're probably some sort of a lab use, maybe for sterilizing lab equipment that you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up, and I'll just give you a quick summary. Okay, just to summarize, these are cool little stoves. That's kind of why I got them. They're unique, and I'm a collector, if you haven't figured that out. That's if you're familiar with my channel, you'll figure it out. I do like stoves. So I just got these. They weren't very expensive. They're kind of cool. Like I said, I think this style burner is probably more for lab work because, like I said, they're so easy to blow out. So they really wouldn't be very good for outdoor use. Plus the capacity on them is not very much. So like I said, probably around an ounce or so of fuel. And they do burn out pretty quick, as you can see. We didn't get anywhere near a boil, but if you're using it for sterilizing or smaller volumes of liquids, it would probably work just fine. If anybody knows what these sort of things are used for, be sure and leave that in the comments for me. That'd be great. I say, if you're going to do outdoor stuff, boiling water, cooking, then, you know, you got better options. You got the Trangia, which is good. The old Fancy Feast, which is probably the fastest, cheapest, lightest of any of the stoves. This thing's like less than an ounce, 0.8. And it's all just cans. Or my new favorite, the Moonlander stove, that boils very quickly. It's a very nice stove. This one's a titanium. I do have I got videos on all these stoves, so if you go down in the description, I'll put to my playlist of all the different burners and stoves that I've played with so far, and there's quite a few. So anyway, so I just thought I'd share these and see how they work, because I hadn't run them either. I do this a lot of times for my own curiosity, and I just film them for you guys. So anyway, can't have anything else to say about this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.